Welcome into Sound the Courtside. My name is Zach, and today I am previewing the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals is finally here. They start later tonight, and so we have the San Antonio Spurs from the West and the New York Knicks from the East. And I'm actually very excited for this series. I think this may be a little bit more interesting than some people think. I'll get into my prediction later and who I think is winning and in how many games. But we'll start with kind of how these teams got here. The Spurs, fresh off that 7 game battle with the Thunder, one of the best series I've seen in a long time. There were a lot of blowouts in between, but game one was one of the best basketball games I've ever watched, and game 7 was another really good game. And I was so glad that this series went to 7 because I've kind of made it up in my mind that if these two teams played, it would go to 7, and I had that in my mind since like February or March, and I've been looking forward to it for so long, and it lived up to the billing fully, and I was so excited. And just watching this as a neutral fan was so much fun. It's such a pleasure to be able to watch a player like Victor Wembanyama. He is truly one of the best players I've ever seen, and I think he does have the potential to become the GOAT. And in my opinion, I think he will become the GOAT if he stays healthy for the next 12 to 15 years. I don't think he needs to play 25 years like LeBron to reach that sort of status. Not that LeBron did. LeBron was considered the GOAT, in my opinion, year 13, year 14 as well. So I personally think LeBron is the GOAT. I'm a big LeBron fan. A little bit off topic there. But Wemby had averaged 27 and 11 and 3 blocks in that season against OKC. And I think that's the biggest matchup for the Knicks, obviously, is how are they going to guard Wemby? They have Karl-Anthony Towns. He's not a great defender. He definitely struggles defensively. He is a great offensive player, and he can really stretch the floor. He's the best big man shooter ever. He can shoot it from all over the place. They're going to need Mitchell Robinson to really step up defensively, but he's dealing with his own issues with that broken pinky. They say he's going to play game 1, and he's going to be ready to go for the whole series, but who knows how much that hinders him and how much that limits him and what his minutes look like. I don't think it's a big minute restriction type of injury with it being a finger and not, some sort of respiratory thing like we saw with Cade Cunningham, or like a lower body injury where running up and down the court all game bothers him. So I don't think there'll be a big minutes restriction, from that standpoint. But they're going to need him defensively because they have not seen a player like Victor Wembanyama all playoffs this year, last year, at any point. Wemby is truly one of a kind, and so they're going to need to step up big time. But the Spurs, in my opinion, their biggest strength is their guard play as well. Like, yeah, they have Wemby, but their guards are so good and so deep. The starters, obviously, the veteran De'Aaron Fox, which I think will go a long way in this series because this is such a young team, and Fox's experience has really helped this team all year. Fox never seen a finals ever, so this is his first finals too. But just being in the league for so long, he's about 28, and so that really goes a long way. And then they have their younger guards, Castle, Harper, and Vassell. All are just fantastic. Could not ask for more out of Stephon Castle in that last series. Averaged 18 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. He had a lot of turnovers in the first 2 games, but he really cut back on those in the last 5. He had 20 turnovers in his first 2 games and received a lot of criticism. But like I said, that problem really disappeared for the rest of that series, and they won. So Dylan Harper as well, coming off the bench. He started 2 games when Fox was out at the beginning of the series, and he played really well in both those games, and had a great game 7. Had that huge step back 3 with about 3 minutes left, pretty much to ice the game, in my opinion. I think after that, OKC's chances were done. And so huge shot from a rookie, a 20-year-old rookie. It just goes to show just how deep and how well put together the Spurs team is, and they're going to be a problem for a while. Speaking of those guards, one of them's going to have to guard Jalen Brunson, and that's definitely their toughest assignment of this series, is who's going to guard Jalen Brunson. He averaged 26 and 8 last series against the Cavs in that clean sweep. And, I talked about how great the Spurs guard play is. The Knicks guard play is no slouch either, with Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart, all of them averaging 14 points or more last series. I would not expect to see Wemby on Jalen Brunson much this series, unless Brunson is driving to the rim. But I wouldn't expect to see Wemby, one-on-one with Brunson on the outside. I think he would be guarding Cat and Anunoby much more than he would be Brunson one-on-one. And so I think Brunson's going to be matched up with a guy like Stephon Castle or De'Aaron Fox or Dylan Harper. And so I'm very interested to see that matchup because I think the advantage goes to the Knicks in that scenario. It's just a matter of can they slow down Wemby enough on the opposite side. And it's going to come down to Cat's ability to beat Wemby offensively as well. Saw Chet Holmgren really struggle and shy away for the moment against Wemby, and so it's up to Cat to make sure he does not do that same thing. It's up to Mitchell Robinson to make sure he does not do that same thing. And they step up to the occasion, and I think they will. I have no doubt about that. Cat especially. He's such a great player. He's such a great competitor. It's the NBA Finals, his first finals. I don't think anybody is stepping down or shying away from Victor Wembanyama on this Knicks team. Wemby's going to get his. There's no doubt about that. Wemby's going to have his games where he has 30 points and 15 rebounds and blah, blah, blah. And so I think for the Spurs, it's really, they need to get Castle and Vassell and Keldon Johnson. Champagnie had a fantastic series as well. De'Aaron Fox, they need to get everybody else involved, and they need to be clicking like they were in the OKC series. There were games where Castle played really well. There were games where Vassell had a really good game. Julian Champagnie had two fantastic games, Game 5 and Game 7. And Wemby, had his Game 1 where he had 40 and 24. And so I think it's going to have to be something like that in this series as well, where everybody contributes and it's not just Wemby. And I think they're going to get that. I truly do love the Spurs team. It's so deep. They have so many players who can give you 20 points on any given night. I think it's going to be such a tough matchup for the Knicks. I do think that the Spurs are going to win this series. I think they're going to win the series in 5 games. They win both at home. They go up 2-0, and the Knicks back against the wall in Game 3. I think they get the big win at home. That Garden is going to be roaring. I can't wait to see what that Garden is like in the first finals matchup since 1999 against the same Spurs team. It's going to be rocking. I can't wait to see what that is like. And I think they get the job done in Game 3. But then I think, kind of come back to earth a little bit. Spurs take Game 4 in New York, head back to San Antonio with a 3-1 lead. And I think they close it out at home. And your finals MVP will be Victor Wembanyama, in my opinion. And I think we see the birth of Victor Wembanyama's resume, his GOAT resume. He already has a great resume. If he wins this finals and wins finals MVP, he will already be a 2-time All-Star, the youngest and first ever unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, 1-time first-team All-NBA, a finals champion, a finals MVP, a Western Conference Finals MVP, all that. So I think we see the birth of Wemby's GOAT resume, and it's going to take him a lot to get into that GOAT debate. Years and years and years. He still has so much ahead of him. He's only 22 years old in his 3rd year. And so I'm not declaring Wemby the GOAT by any stretch of the imagination. Don't get my words twisted. But I truly think he has that potential. And if he wants to do that and get into the conversation, he started off as well as he could have asked for, in my opinion. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know any suggestions for future videos. I'll be back probably tomorrow with a recap of Game 1, talk about everything that happened. So thank you for watching. Follow on the other socials, Silent to Courtside, same as YouTube. So I'm on TikTok and Instagram as well, daily content over there. So make sure you follow over there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.